All right. So restore the Snyderverse. Like I said, every week I will do an update of some sort in regards to the Restore the Snyderverse movement, where things are at this point in time, where we hope and really, really hope things are going to be moving. And we got some pretty unfortunate news that has been misconstrued in some ways, I think, over the last few days in regards to Ben Affleck's Batman, him portraying the Dark Knight. And I have a few comments here. I know he spoke with, I think, The Guardian and LA Times. He's been all over the place talking about his newest film, The Tender Bar. And obviously, questions about Batman have been brought up in a lot of those interviews. And he's come out and just talked about his experience in playing Batman and how he feels Batman was left the final time that he's played him. So we're going to start with this one here, which he goes, talking about being Batman. That was a bad experience. And he's talking about the time back in 2016, 2017, filming Justice League. That was a bad experience because of a confluence of things: my own life, my divorce, being way too much, the competing agendas, and then Zach's personal tragedy and the reshooting. It was just the worst experience. It was awful. It was everything that I didn't like about this. And it's really important to see here that he's saying the competing agendas and the reshooting. Those are two areas that I think people need to really pull out of this, because yeah, there was a lot going on in his life at the time as well, with his divorce, and then he was struggling himself with alcoholism allegedly. But he sits there and talks about the competing agendas, and the competing agendas were that of the studio and Zach and Ben. Ben wanted to do something with this character. That's why he wanted to do the Batman movie. He wanted to direct it. He wanted to write it. He wanted to star in it. But the agendas of what WB and Jeff Johns and everybody over there were doing just not mesh with what Zach and Ben had planned for the character. Thus, it put a lot of strain on him, as well as going into the reshoots with Josh Whedon, where it was just a horrible experience. And he's not the only one that has talked about how bad that experience was. Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa has backed up Ray Fisher's claims. We know that it was not a good experience for those actors during that time. And that's a real shame, because for someone like Ben Affleck, who's so beloved as the character, to have struggled at that time and to have come out of it saying it's the worst experience ever, the fact that he was willing to come back, even back in 2019, as late as 2019, he said on Jimmy Kimmel, "I'm done. I'm not Batman." But then in 2020, Zach reaches out like, "Hey man, do you want to come back and do some additional photography?" And he's like, "Absolutely." And then he gets an opportunity to go and do something on the Flash movie as well. And he discusses that as well in another interview. And this is talking about the Flash movie. "I hope they maintain the integrity of what we did, because I thought it was great and really interesting, different, but not in a way that is incongruent with the character. Who knows? Maybe they will decide that it doesn't work. But when I went and did it, it was really fun and really, really satisfying and encouraging. And I thought, wow, I think I have finally figured it out. It was a really nice finish on my experience with that character." And right there, it was a really nice finish on the experience with that character. People were freaking out because of that specific line there. I'm going to put it up again. Really nice finish on my experience with that character. That goes in line with some remarks that he has made over the last couple months about not wanting to be part of big IPs anymore, and how he wants to focus on smaller, intimate type of projects. So people were freaking out that Ben Affleck is done. He doesn't want to play the character anymore. And you're not wrong. If this is it for him, he wanted to go out strong. He wanted to do it the way that he wanted to do it, and that's what he's done. And I give him all the credit in the world for doing that, for coming back, because he knows the fans adore his portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne. So I give him a lot of credit for coming back, and hopefully, and I do believe that they're going to do him right in the Flash movie. I do honestly believe that. I know that there's a lot of um, I don't want to say hatred, but animosity towards what is going on right now with Warner Brothers, especially the Flash movie. But I really believe that they're going to do right by Ben Affleck's Batman. I really do believe that. But here's the thing, guys, and I've said this for quite some time, and we talked about it a good bit last week. Zack Snyder is not done with his push to continue and finish off the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse, if continued in live action, will only continue if Zack is able to get, if he's able to get Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Ray Fisher, so on and so forth. Those are his guys. Those are his characters. That's who he wants doing this. So as long as he's able to get that, it will continue. And you know that if Zack picks up the phone and says, "Hey, Ben, I got the green light. Let's finish this thing." Ben will be there in a heartbeat. He'll be there for his man, his boy, Zack Snyder, to help finish his story. And we know that Zack isn't done pushing. Look at what he's been posting on social media. I know a lot of people want to sit there and say, "Oh, you're nuts. You're crazy for thinking that Ben's going to come." Look, he's plainly saying he's done. And again, you're not wrong. He is done playing the character, especially within the main DCEU timeline. And we're going to get more into that here in a minute, because the main DCEU timeline is shifting, and it's going to be completely rearranged and reestablished with this upcoming Flash movie. He's done in that regard, but that doesn't mean he would be done working with Snyder and finishing off the Snyderverse arc, which is essentially an Elseworld story. And that's very important to remember, because Ben, while he says, "Really nice finish on my experience with that character," he also said in 2019 that he was done playing Batman. It's not like wasn't willing to come back before. So keep that in mind, because I think that's something that a lot of people are forgetting or are missing. Let's see here. Okay. But let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments on what's going on with Ben Affleck. Is he completely done? Is there no chance for the Snyderverse to continue? If the Snyderverse continues, will he come back? Because I can assure you this. I can tell you this with certainty. Zack will not finish his arc in live action, at least, without all of those actors coming back. He will not recast Batman. He won't recast Superman. He won't recast any of them. So if he cannot finish, if Affleck is truly done, and I know there was a Vero message from Zack Snyder thanking Ben Affleck, and I can tell you, if he cannot get Affleck back, the Snyderverse is dead. But the fact that Snyder himself has pushed on social media as recently as last week to keep hope alive, well, I think we need to keep hope alive. Stay passionate, stay excited, stay united, all that jazz. Just keep pushing for the Snyderverse. Stay away from toxicity, stay away from the hatred, stay away from all the negativity. Just stay passionate, stay excited, stay united, and it could happen. I can't imagine that when Zaslav gets in there and he starts to evaluate everything from DC and Warner Brothers and HBO Max, that he doesn't see that there's a good possibility for money to be made with the Snyderverse. And it all comes down to money. And I can tell you this, the toxicity, the hatred, the negativity that surrounds the Snyderverse, it should not be tolerated. It is not tolerated. And Warner Brothers doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. They don't take that into account for fans that want to see it. They look at that as toxic, as bad. They don't want that. They want people to be excited about their projects. So keep that in mind. What's going on, guys? Did you enjoy this video? If you did, make sure you smash that like button. And for more, hit subscribe with that little notification bell. That way, you'll be notified every time a new episode drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.